Hello ladies and gentlemen, I've got Dead by Daylight strategy here. It's very toxic, and it's not by running that your usual toxic videos that you'll see. I'm an average survivor, I ain't a great runner, and I know a lot of people that plays Dead by Daylight tries to run and just cannot get their head around it. But I believe this strategy can be a great help to anyone that plays this game. It's so easy to do. What you're going to need, you're going to need the Pied Piper offering, and you're going to need this perk build. Your first perk is going to be no mither. That means that you're in an injured state constantly through the game, but you can recover. Every time the killer leaves you, you can recover back to the state that you were before you got downed. And you're going to need boil over. That makes the killers, when they're carrying you to the hook, that they're going to stagger 25% more. You're going to make the killer bump into a few objects. Well, this strategy is so good, you only really need to make the killer bump into one object, and it's all you need to, and she cannot make it down to the hook with you. So you're going to need no mither, boil over, and sprint burst to give you that head start to get you to your safe zone. I don't know why I was using unbreakable there. I think I used it in the last game and didn't use no mither. Sometimes vice versa, swap them about, but I'd never run the two together because they're basically the same thing. I should have been using resilience, because that would have, when I'm injured, which you are using no mither, that would have made the gen repairs 10% faster. And normally I do use that using this strategy. I'll upload more videos of me doing this strategy. It's so consistent. I think I remember doing it 3-4 times consecutively. I used all my Pied Piper offerings and I achieved this. I didn't always make it out alive, but I still ranked up and still really helped the team. Using no mither, it's one of the worst perks in the game. Everybody will tell you no mither is one of the worst perks in the game. You're really putting your team in danger by using it, but this strategy, it's so effective, and I believe it's no mither at its finest. I was so proud to discover this strategy because I know it's unique and no one's doing it. But you're going to need the basement to be in the school. If the basement isn't in the school, there's going to be a hook at the back door, and it's easier for the killer to carry you to that hook. It's 50-50 really. There's times I can wiggle free while they're trying to get me to that hook, but it's just not as effective. If the basement's here, I'm feeling confident. It's so toxic, the strategy. I know when you hear toxic, you think of great running, pallet looping, taking the killer in a wild goose chase, taking them through infinites. But for an average player like myself, I've tried all that, and it's a very hard thing to get your head around. But I believe this strategy is well within everyone's means and so easy to use. If you're not a great runner, this is a great way to waste the killer's time. I believe in this game, if everybody could waste the killer's time for 1 minute, providing that you've got 2 hooks, 3 before you're dead, I believe the killer has no chance. It's always scary using no mither because you're really putting your team in danger. The first thing I'm going to look for here when I go into the school is the hook at the back door. And if the hook is there, I know the basement isn't there, and it's going to be a lot harder. But if there's no hook now, when I turn this corner at the back door, I know the basement's there, and it isn't there. The basement is in the school, so I'm feeling confident. You don't want to leave the school. You don't want to go too far from the school. There's normally 4 gens surrounding that school, and that's the gens that you want to be working. You don't want to be going to the far end of the map. These are the power gens for the killer. These are the gens that the killer really can't lose. If the killer loses 2 of these gens at the school, I believe the killer's beat because the map is so big, it's spread out, there's gens everywhere. One of the first things I do when I play Survivor is when the killer's chasing someone, I'll always try and take out one of the center gens. I'll upload a video later of me playing killer as the hillbilly, patrolling these gens at the high ranks really easily. But this is one gen down now. You don't want to be rescuing people in the hook either because you're on no mither, you're one hit and you're down. Your priority is just to stay close to the school, try and do as much gens as you can and hope your teammate can save your other teammates that are hooked. I don't know why I'm taking down that hook. You really don't need to take down this hook. The place where I'm going to be taking the killer, there's no way the killer's going to reach that hook. So probably wasted a bit of time taking down that hook. I probably could have had 25% of this gen done already. And I'm pissed I'm using the unbreakable. Basically it does the same thing as no mither. It means you can recover from the health state, but with no mither you can repeatedly recover from the health state. I just wish I had resilience, and I wish I hadn't touched that hook, because with resilience and me not touching that hook, I would have nearly had this gen completed already. You want to save your sprint burst, always save your sprint burst, because you're going to need that head start to get you down on the bottom floor of the school. Panicked there, but I didn't know the killer was attacking someone else, and maybe I could have saved my sprint burst and stayed on that gen. I really should have had that gen taken out. I can't take the chance. I gotta get into the school where I can really use my boil over. Well, this is the safe zone here. If you've got boil over in the basements on this level, the killer really can't make it to the basement hook with you. And if the basement isn't in this school, where that pallet is where you would want to be, but it's just not as effective. It's kind of 50-50. I've tried it many times. It does work. There's times it doesn't work. But this strategy, the basement being there, boil over, it's so effective. Got really lucky there that she missed her attack, because if she really downed me on them stairs, she was taking me to the hook. You see here now how boil over works. She's getting stuck on corners and tables. With boil over, the effects of staggering is increased by 25%. She's always going to bang into something. Well, here I got her to bang into 3 things. She didn't even get close to the basement. It really is a form of toxicness. I don't care what anybody says. I'm wasting this killer's time, and that's so valuable to the team in this game. Here she goes the second time. She's going to try and not bump into things. She's doing a good job so far. Still, yep, little bump there. That's all you need, I believe. One little bump. May not even have needed it. I believe that's as close as you'll ever get me to that basement. That's how good that strategy is. The teams outside doing gens, they're working through, it's really a great help to the team. Don't know why the killer's staying there. She couldn't be pissed already. Normally when you do this strategy, you could catch the killer 5-6 times, maybe even more. I've had played games where some people are so determined that they just don't give up. This killer's given up really really soon. I think she knows she's in for a hard game and she's just going to take her spite out in me. So well, at least the team's going to escape anyway. Hopefully I've ranked up with them few wriggle threes that I've done and the few gens that I've done. I have videos of this strategy where the killer just did not leave, but I still ranked up and I didn't care. That's what it's all about in this game, ranking up. If you keep looking behind her now, you'll see I get a great bit of luck in this game. You'll see the hatch will swarm behind her now any second. And then she's got a dilemma, what does she do? Because I'm not giving that hatch up after doing this strategy. I believe if you're a survivor, you should always, if you're a survivor, you survive. You always want that. Survivor should always want the hatch standoff. You should be more determined than a killer. Given the fact that you're a survivor, so you have to survive. My track record at hatch escapes is really good. I'm so stubborn when it comes to trap escapes. There's the hatch spawning. I know I'm getting out of this trial. Once that hatch spawned there, I know I was escaping there. Just hoping my teammates would leave, because if they stay in the trial, now that they're leaving, the hatch is open. I know this killer. There's a chance that she may panic when I get up, and if she panics and hits me, well, I'm home free. But she probably done the best thing by hitting me, because there's no way I was giving that hatch up, so she saved a lot of time. Thanks for watching.